Okay, we're going to talk about COVID testing today. So, as always, here's a lab manual. This is the COVID lab manual. Start with make sure you read the policy. It'll go through exactly how to do the test, how the test is run, why it works, and any precautions that you may have on the reagents. The second tab is going to be the quality control tab. Anytime boxes come in for a sample, we have to ensure that they work appropriately. There will be a positive and negative control in each box. So when those are done, then we record them here. If you have any questions about those, please let me know. Then we have a results log. This results form is quite detailed, and this is detailed because of the way the government requires us to report it. All of the top information does have to be filled out, and we'll go over the reporting later. And here is the results log where you'll put a patient sticker, record your result and your initials. And then lastly, we have the policy on how to report that in Epic. So let's get started. You'll receive your sample. Now this is just a swab, and I'm not going to be putting on all the PPE so that you can hear me better. When you do the collection of this swab, you will need to have all the PPE on, gloves, mask, face shield, and gown. When you do the testing, you do not. There's no respiratory aerosols that are generated by this testing, so you will need to have on gloves and of course the mask because we're still in COVID precautions. So we'll start by getting out the box. Make sure that the box has on there quality control okay to make sure it's tested, and make sure that the expiration date is checked. This one happens to expire mid-July. These COVID tests expire quite quickly, so just keep an eye on that. To get started, you'll find that there will be a card in there. This is the quick reference cheat sheet card. You can use this or the policy in the COVID manual, but this is a little quicker. It'll tell you exactly how to do that. So we're going to get out our holding box, a test cassette, and then in this particular one, there are several foil envelopes that contain your sample tubes. So you'll want to get out one of those. Make sure that these are sealed. Again, these are sensitive to humidity, so keep those sealed in there. Open your sample cartridge. This is your opportunity. If you have another label, you can wrap it around the handle part of the cartridge, or you can put the patient name or initials here to keep it straight. When you put your sample in here, you'll notice there's a large and a small hole. The small hole is for the vial and the large hole is for the filter cap. So you're going to start by removing the cap. Once again, be careful. If this does flick out any liquid, throw it away and start over. Sometimes these caps can be tricky. Now this particular one, you'll have to take the patient sample out, and you're going to want to vigorously plunge the swab up and down for 15 seconds. Again, they're particular about this method. You can count your 15 seconds. I think that's certainly reasonable. So that's about 15 seconds. Make sure not to splash. Now again, take the tube out. You'll find that there's these ribbed areas for your fingers. That's where you're going to want to squeeze and rotate the swab while you're squeezing to get out any additional sample. Now this swab is done. This goes into the biohazard container. Now you're going to want to click on the filter tip. Make sure you hear a click, and then put it back down, and this is where we're going to start the sample processing. So you notice on your card, the top is the sample processing. We've completed that, and then we have two options, the Analyze Now method or the walkaway method. I'm going to want you to use the pink walkaway method. So this is where we have the analyzer. We click the blue button one time. It'll turn on, it'll say BD, and then it'll say self-test V5.4, and it'll say pass. On there it'll say insert test device or double click for walkaway mode. We're going to use the walkaway mode, so we're going to double click. And then it gives you a 3-minute timer. That timer is you have 3 minutes to put your sample on the sample cartridge. This requires 3 drops. Again, the drops are very precision driven, so make sure that you get down and watch. Make sure you have 3 good drops, that there's no bubbles. You're about 1 inch away from the cartridge and you're completely upright. Go nice and slow. Make sure you don't add extra. 1, 2, 3. Suck up the rest. Now it's going to start processing, so you're going to enter it in the side here. This is a 15-minute test, so it'll time for 15 minutes. So start your 15-minute timer, then you can go walk away to your desk and let the sample process, and we'll be back. Okay, so we're back for the COVID test. We've waited for 15 minutes. So let's double check and see what that looks like. So that one says COVID negative. Again, just double check that your results are done correctly. If it says anything other than that, it's invalid. Come find me, or you'll have to recollect the sample and start again. So after that, you do have to finish out this report form. Again, this report form is lengthy and required by the government, positive or negative in your signature. This report form can go to the provider, but after it's done with the provider, it has to go in 2 places. One, it has to go up to Jen upstairs. She has to report every COVID test to the government, and then she'll give it back to us, and then it'll get filed in the lab manual. So after she files it, all patient results have to go into this lab file, and then remember that it has to go into the results log as well. So make sure it's there, and then make sure that it gets reported as well in Epic. When you're done, the patient sample and the test cartridge are both biohazard. Make sure and put your card away back in the box. This little box you do keep, and you can put that back in there. This will go back into the lab closet, and then turn off your analyzer by pressing and holding and using the purple top Sani cloth to wipe down everything, including the timers and the analyzer. Make sure that you initial the hygiene log to say that it was done. That's it. Thanks.